Hello again, guys. It's Keith with Bulletproof RC. Now I'm back with you again, sharing an update on the team associated RC8.2e factory team kit. Since I purchased this buggy, I've done quite a few things with it. I've ran it off-road, on-road, and ran 4S, 6S. I've jumped it off-road, ran around the yard, up down the street, in parking lots, and I don't know, I've had a great deal of fun with it. But I've done a couple of things to it since the last video. Thought I would make a video and show you guys what I've done. So I'm going to grab the body. There we go. Alright, since my last video I thought I would do or add a fan since the temperatures were getting up there on 6S. So I went with I don't know if it's called Yay Racing or Yeah Racing, but it's a great setup. It's a tornado fan cooling system for 8-scale motors, rated up to or designed for up to a 42 millimeter can, and it's a clamping design which is uses screws, so it can be adjusted to a certain degree. With the Reedy 2000 kV that's in here, I did have to on the bottom portion of the clamp, I put a little bit of tape in there just to fill in some of the gap, because after I tightened it down you could still move the fan back and forth a little bit. I wanted it to be snug, so just that tidbit information might help somebody out there. Pretty easy, just a couple of pieces of electrical tape and put it on the bottom side of the clamp. The bottom side doesn't have fins and all that in it. It's flat, so that way if your motor is sitting close to your chassis, don't worry about that. The bottom portion is just a piece of aluminum that goes underneath and clamps it. And like I said, I filled in some of the gap to make it tighter with electrical tape. With a 42 millimeter can, this thing would tighten down on it quite snug. So if that's what you're going to get it for, then you're good to go. But I wanted to talk about this fan because it really gets the job done. I also have this fan on my team associated rival, and running 6S in that rival, I was hitting 170 degrees the other day in 75 degree weather. Now that kind of temperature is to be expected, especially when at the end of your battery run. But I wanted to cool things down a little bit because 170 degrees is up there. So put one of these fans on it the same day, charged my batteries up, went back out, and I was hitting temperatures in the 130 degree range. So you're talking about 30 degrees of temperature that a cooling fan like this can drop your motor. That's significant, guys. That's a no gearing change or anything. So that's something to keep in mind if you're pushing your motor limits. You can get a little bit more out of it if you go with one of these cooling fans. And I think they look pretty cool too. Pretty decent styling, and the way I can't take this off on camera because it'll take me a few minutes, but the inside of this fin, it actually has grooves in it that go around the motor, and when the air blows, that goes into the heat sink and circulates around the motor. So much better design than some of the other systems I've seen out there, where it just, where the fan cools the heat sink and the heat sink draws heat from the motor. This actually blows directly on the motor and cools the heat sink at the same time. So very, very good and efficient system. Now let's talk about how I'm running 6S, because the last time I had this vehicle on video, I had a 4S rated ESC in it. Before I had the Hobbywing SC8 120 amp 4S rated ESC. Well, I pulled that out and sold it because I picked up this Max 8. And friends, let me tell you something. This Hobbywing Max 8 is the bomb. I know there are some awesome systems out there. I've never made the plunge on a Tekin system. Tekin, I've heard great things about it, but the price range the Tekin stuff is in, I just can't justify dropping that kind of money on it. I mean, if I had one RC, sure, I'd have max amps and Tekin and I wouldn't buy any Chinese aluminum. I mean, it would be all the best. But I have a family, I have a house payment, I have vehicles that I pay for, and and other things too. And you know, I make decent money on my job, but you know, come on, this is a hobby. And if I'm not racing 1/8 scale buggies, why have, you know, that kind of expense in a hobby? Hobbywing brings a whole realm of ESCs and different offerings that are affordable and they perform well. And this ESC has a internal BEC that puts out up to 7.4 volts. It's adjustable via the included program card. It has 6mm bullets that are built into it, similar to the Mamba Monster 2 that Castle makes. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is a much better ESC in my opinion than a Mamba Monster. Every Castle system I've ever owned, cogs at the low end speed, they all cog. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing Castle. Castle makes great products. They last. They have a wonderful customer service and warranty system. And you know, if you blow a Hobbywing ESC, you're not going to get someone on the phone and get it replaced like you would with Castle. But with the Hobbywing ESCs I've never had one go out. I've never burnt one up. I've never had a problem. I know that I've seen on the forum some folks have, but as far as I'm concerned, you know, as long as Hobbywing serves me well, I'll continue to support them, even though it's not a U.S.-based company. This ESC is amazing. It's staying cool. It's got plenty of punch and power, and it's so smooth. I mean, it would rival a lot of censored systems. How smooth it is. When I lay this thing on the ground and barely pull the trigger, it's just like a censored system. It's so much control and so smooth. I can't go on enough about it, guys. And don't knock it till you try it. You need to try a Hobbywing Max A if you don't believe me. Now, a lot of that may have to do with the Reedy motor that I've got paired up with it, but yeah, like I said, I'm very pleased with it. Went with some firm springs from Team Associated for the RC8 front and rear, the blue ones, just simply because I'm jumping this thing when I'm running it off-road. And when I'm on road, I want a little bit more suspension stiffness, of course, just to make the vehicle handle better. And then also, I did pick up some new batteries. Again, I know you keep seeing these HRB batteries on my YouTube channel, but again, just like the Hobbywing stuff, they haven't let me down. The seller on eBay, they have a US based warehouse. I got these in 4 days after ordering them, which is amazing. And the reason I purchased these is because the 5200 milliamp 3S batteries that I have were a little large and kind of difficult to fit in that battery tray and get the body snug and all that stuff on it. The body was kind of sitting up a little higher than it ought to be. It just wasn't too good. So 2 reasons I went with the 3000 milliamp. They're small. They're slightly smaller than a 7.4 volt 2S, and they both of them fit snugly in that battery tray. Not snugly, but with extra room actually for the wires also to go in the battery tray. That way you don't have a cumbersome mess to mess with when you're putting your body on. They're 35C rated, and these are realistic discharge rates. They're not puffed up. And I've not had a single HRB battery swell on me. I've owned several of these guys, and I have not had one of them give me trouble. So, and I figure 3000 milliamp, since it's 6S, and I'm running the 2S 6000 milliamp batteries I have when I go off road. But on road, when I'm doing the speed runs and stuff, these batteries are perfect because, you know, by the time you drain a 3000 milliamp battery, it's time to give that poor little old motor a little cool down anyway. So the way I see it, that's a perfect milliamp hour. No sense in putting a 7000 or 8000 milliamp battery in this thing when you're going to have to stop and rest and cool that motor down anyway. So anyway, these are small, compact, light. That's another reason, you know, if you're doing speed runs, you know, you might want to go with a lower milliamp because it's lighter battery. You might hit a little bit higher speed with the reduced weight. But anyway, great battery, guys. I highly recommend them. Only reason I recommend something on my channel is because I've tried it, I've paid my money for it, and it has not failed me. So no sponsors whatsoever here, guys. This just a average guy who buys RC parts and kits and has fun with them and shares his thoughts. But anyway, that'll do it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if the shoe fits, like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day.